It was a good start to the week on the markets and the ideal day to catch up with the ever-optimistic Charlie Aitken at Southern Cross Equities. Charlie Aitken, thanks for joining us this evening.
Thanks, Bridget. It was an encouraging start to the week.
Certainly was. What do you think's behind that?
Well, the answers all lied in Beijing. I mean, obviously data out of China came out on the weekend, which is unusual from the Chinese, all stronger than the market anticipated, drove up the currency, drove up commodity prices in Shanghai, and really put a little bit of a torch under the Australian equity market, which closed at a multi-week high.
Now, there's been speculation for weeks that Wal King, the CEO of Lateline, will go. Today, of course, it was announced late this afternoon that the new chief executive is David Stewart. No surprise, David Stewart coming in. But how did the market react to the news?
Well, the shares in Lateline were up about 3% today. That was, as you know, inside a broader market rally. But look, I think this just brings this soap opera to a conclusion. I think everyone knew Wal was going. Wal's done a great job, let's be fair. But I think the market was waiting for certainty here. I think the market also has some belief that the chairman, David Mortimer, and other board members like Ian Macfarlane, the old Reserve Bank governor, are pretty sensible people. And I think the market, voted that this change was right. So I think it might actually see Lateline shares continue to do a bit better.
Property player Stockland has upped its bid for retirement village operator Avon. It's gone a bit hostile. What did investors make of the new offer today?
Well, that was interesting because this bid they have declared final, and in the Truth in Takeovers law, that means they can't bid higher. So this is it for Avon shareholders in terms of from Stockland. I think it's an interesting tactic because it says to Avon shareholders, look, here it is, here's our best bid. You can choose to take it or leave it. So it'll be interesting to watch this develop. I think Stockland will probably get that because the bid looks, a reasonable bid, but it's an aggressive tactic.
There are further questions over Virgin Blue's strategy, particularly as it runs into regulatory hurdles on some of its key international routes. Any further fallout for it on the share market today, Charlie?
Yeah, Bridget, look, Virgin shares lost 5%, but we have to put this in context. They've rallied from 29 cents to 47 cents back to 39 cents. It's been a monstrous rally since the former Qantas star John Borghetti took over as CEO. He's obviously trying to grow the premium business traffic of Virgin, and the market had been liking that story. Running into regulatory hurdles in terms of New Zealand and the Delta Airlines alliance just took a little bit of heat out of the stock, but I think they'll stabilise around here as the market wants to back the new CEO.
Richard Branson was in Australia this morning. He flies out tonight. Didn't help its share price.
Look, if Richard Branson couldn't get him up, that's a problem. But I'm sure Virgin's a bit bigger than Richard now.
And ANZ has a new head of its New Zealand operations.
Yeah, a guy called David Hisco coming from inside ANZ. Look, I mean, this was mildly positive, but we've got to remember, while ANZ's formerly known as the Australian and New Zealand Banking Corporation, it really is on an Asian growth strategy at the moment. I mean, the market's backing ANZ for its diversified and differentiated Asian growth strategy. So, interesting development in New Zealand today, but ANZ's really all about Asia.
How have the New Zealand operations been going for ANZ? We recently had South Canterbury Finance in New Zealand collapse.
Look, I think most operations for most Australian companies in New Zealand have been disappointing. Really, it's been a very poor performing economy. But look, there are tentative signs that the Kiwi economy is showing a little bit of signs of life. So perhaps the drag from New Zealand won't be as bad over the next year or so. But I reiterate for ANZ, this is really all about Asia.
And just briefly, how did the miners go today?
Miners had a great day, Bridget, a really big day, as you'd expect, in response to the Chinese data. Mining service companies also had a very big day, so anything West Australian, Queensland having a good time. The miners all up, the mid-cap miners all up 3, 4, 5, 7%. There's some real action there today, and as you know, I probably expect that to continue for a little while.
Charlie Aitken, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thanks, Bridget.